Hey guys, this is Buford with Scholarships for Soccer, and today we have a very special guest. Her name is Sarah Toller. She plays soccer for Johnson and Wales University in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we can't wait to hear from her. Sarah, welcome.
Hi.
All right, now let's get started. What originally attracted you to Johnson and Wales University?
Well, my associate's major is baking and pastry, and I've grown up in the kitchen with my grandmother and my mother, always making cookies or something. So I was really interested in going into the food service industry, and I actually found Johnson Wales because of the baking and pastry major, and then later found out, oh, they also have a soccer team. So it was kind of a win-win because I got the soccer aspect and I got to do what I love.
Okay, yes, that is a win-win. Now, what level soccer do they play at Johnson and Wales?
Um, well, we currently are not like division 1, 2, or 3. We play in the EMAC conference,
Okay, that's
and
USCAA.
yes,
Okay. Uh,
we're we're getting close. We're getting closer to Division 3, but we're not quite there yet.
gotcha. All right. Now, you mentioned your major is baking and pastry. That's kind of interesting. And if I'm not mistaken, Johnson and Wales is like a really career-focused school.
Yes, I did baking and pastry, and because everything that's going on, I've had to put that on hold because I was doing my internship back in my hometown, and I've had to put that on hold. So they were able to start me in new classes because of this. They were able to start me in my bachelor's degree program. So I'm doing a 2+2. I'm doing baking and pastry arts for my first 2 years, and then business studies for my last 2 years. So
Okay,
they're very career oriented.
gotcha. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the soccer. Back in your high school days, if you can remember back then, um, did you play club ball and high school ball, or just club ball?
I played both.
Okay, and when was the point where you thought that I'm good enough to play in college and I can really do it?
Um, well, it was kind of a long journey for that. I felt like I could, but I wasn't really sure where I'd fit in because there were always, you're always seeing players like, oh, this player can go and do this player can go and do that, and then you look at like the women's national team, and they've got a couple of fairly young players, and so that was kind of, I was like, well, I could play, but I wasn't really ever 100% sure until till I actually started my recruiting process.
Okay, and when did you start recruiting process?
Um, I actually started fairly late. I like contacted Johnson Wales in my sophomore year, and that was where like I could contact them, but they really couldn't contact me. So I like reached out a little bit and I was interested, but nothing really happened then. It wasn't until my senior year um I had sent my head coach and another email saying, hey, like I've got a tournament coming up, like I'd be really interested if you could make it. And um I was actually working closing shift at the Tropical Smoothie near near the soccer fields that I play, and I was I was mid close. It was 9 o'clock. It was time for us to go home. I was cleaning the blenders and the sink, and I get this call, and it's just me and my one other coworker. And I'm like freaking out because I'm like, this is a unknown, like I don't know the number, but it's from North Carolina. I was like, I have to take this. This is it. And it was kind of a crazy hectic moment because I stepped out of the store and my coworker was like, just go, take the call. And so I started, um, you know, it was about middle of my middle of my senior year that like I really started my recruiting process, and for me it all happened fairly fast.
Okay. Now fast forward to your on campus. What is your typical day like on campus?
Okay, my typical day. So, we actually are switching next year to semesters. The past forever have been in trimesters. So we have 3 terms in our school year. So being a sophomore this year, I lived in the apartment style housing on campus. So for my academics, we got to choose our classes, and I would usually be up by 7:30 because I did have one 7:30 class. And so 2 days out of the week, I was up for my 7:30 class, and I was pretty much in classes until around 1, and then I'd head back to my dorm room and eat lunch. Sometimes after I ate lunch, I would go down to our athletic building, and I do like one-on-one with my coach, or sometimes there'd be an afternoon nap before going to practice, because our rule for our classes was we have to be done with class during season by 3, because we always have practice starting by 4:00.
Okay.
So that was academics. And then when I was in labs for baking and pastry, I'd be up at 6, and I would be full chef uniform and at our academic building by 6:45, and lab classes went from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Okay. All right. Now, for you, what is the best part of playing soccer in college?
I just love the team, like our atmosphere, getting out on the field, whether we're doing a serious drill, or if we're like, oh, we're gonna play this game and we're gonna do this. Regardless of what we're doing, our team just kind of our heart is in it, and we're all there helping each other, trying to get better, and just I thrive in that environment of us pushing each other to get better.
Okay. If you had one piece of advice for high school juniors and seniors coming up, what would it be?
I would say, don't listen to the people who say you can't, because I definitely feel outside of my family and close friends and everything, there were definitely people and there were some coaches that I experienced through my pre-college career that said that I've heard, oh, you'll never make it to college play. So there will always be someone who says that, and my biggest piece of advice is that's not for them to decide. You're the one who's making it happen. So if that's your dream, just make it happen.
All right, that is great advice. Now, here's an off-the-wall question. What's your favorite thing to cook?
Oh, that's really hard. Well, since I've been stuck in my house for the most part, I'd say some of my favorite things. I made peanut butter cookies, but not just plain peanut butter cookies. They're peanut butter chocolate chip cookies.
Ooh.
That's one of my favorites. And because it's my grandma's recipe with my own twist added to it. And then banana bread.
All right. Well, I'm only 3 hours away from Williamsburg, so you may get a knock on your door. All right. So what year you're a sophomore now?
Yes, I'm a sophomore, about to go into my junior year.
Okay. And what position do you play for Johnson & Wales?
Well, for most of my life, I've been a goalkeeper, but we had quite a few injuries this past season, and I've also always had, the field player training aspect, because my dad, when he played when he was younger, he was a goalkeeper, but he encouraged us, like, if we wanted to be a goalkeeper, but he always kept our field player aspect. He's like, you need how to play on the field, and I've always ran into situations where, more than one goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Like during club season, we would rotate, like, who's in goal, who's on the field. So this past season, I've actually transitioned over to a forward, and I shall be staying a forward for my last 2 seasons of college play.
Oh, wow. So your versatility is really come in handy.
Yeah, they're probably like the weirdest, most unexpected transition for a goalkeeper, but that was the position I played when I was not in goal. So
Okay.
it's kind of like keeper mentality has helped me with being a forward. Like, I know what the goalkeeper's thinking, so helps me out just a little bit.
Sure. All right. Now, what kind of role did your parents play in your recruiting? Did they help you with recruiting, or did you just pretty much do it all on your own?
Well, we went through in CSA, I think that's what it was. We went through their recruiting, and obviously they helped me pay for it. And but my dad was always taking photos, and he was always doing videos, and he actually helped me edit together a video for me to put on my profile and to send to my current head coach. And so they were fairly active, but the whole recruiting, I was the one, reaching out to Johnson & Wales. I set up a meeting because, Williamsburg has a lot of tournaments. So the first time I met my coach, he was here with I think his ODP team at a tournament. So I got to meet him up in Williamsburg first before I actually met him on campus.
That's nice.
So a lot of what they've done is more of like, they've definitely been a big supporting role, but I was the one who was in charge of my recruiting and what I was doing with it.
Okay, well, Sarah, I know you've got things to do, probably got something in the oven, and we really appreciate you coming on and educating us as parents about being in college. Most of our kids are wanting to be where you are now, and I just want to thank you for coming on, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.